Derek Jeter, Harold Baines, overrated. John Olerud, Cliff Floyd, underrated. Major League Baseball has all kinds of characters throughout the game, and I'm giving you my top 10 current underrated players in Major League Baseball. Let's go. We're going to kick things off with Arizona Diamondbacks starter Merrill Kelly. Who? Exactly. Merrill Kelly is the undoubted number 2 starter for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are currently at time of filming in first place in the National League West. And Merrill Kelly's been doing this for a little while. Check out those numbers from 2019. 101, 175, 95, 119, 146, all in the ERA plus. Well above average, except for that one blip in 2021. He's averaging 180 innings per full season. That's 4 of the last 5 years when you take out the 2020 season. Merrill Kelly takes the bump every 5th day for the Diamondbacks and delivers consistent start after consistent start, and nobody even knows who he is. And why not? Because he's more of a ground ball pitcher, a fly ball pitcher, a pitch to contact type of guy. He's not going to ring up a whole bunch of strikeouts, but Merrill Kelly is going to do one thing very well, and that's get outs, log innings, save your bullpen, and help your team win. Forget those other numbers. Winning is still the most important thing in this game. Yes, I don't use it as a stat in baseball for pitchers very often anymore. I look at the ERA plus, but winning the game is what matters most, and Merrill Kelly does such a good job for that for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Underrated players so often are guys who do one skill very, very, very well, and some of the other ones aren't so good, but they get overlooked because of the fact they only do one skill very well. And I wanted to have a player like that on this list, and I picked out Connor Joe from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He had a fantastic story returning to the Colorado Rockies. He made a little niche for himself in Colorado, had one bad year, but one thing that Connor Joe does very well, one of the best in baseball, is hit left-handed pitching. And there's a place in the game for this type of player. In his career, Connor Joe is hitting .271 batting average, a 119 OPS plus in his career versus lefties. And in 2022, he had a 110 OPS plus. And currently this year, he is absolutely torching left-handed pitching. A 1031 OPS. That translates to the 154 OPS plus. That is 54% better than the league average. When you have that type of guy, yes, you can run Connor Joe out there on a fairly regular basis, but you know for a fact you want him in there anytime there's a left-handed starter on the mound, and becomes a weapon off the bench against lefties coming out of the bullpen in a pinch hitting role. There is a ton of guys like this in baseball who hit righties or lefties very well, and they tend to hang around for their careers for a little while, and Connor Joe is one of these guys, and I had to have a spot on this list for someone like him. And Connor Joe is one of the best names in baseball at the moment in terms of hitting left-handed pitching. He crushes it. So a very well-deserved spot, I believe, on my list. Connor Joe, one of the most underrated players in baseball. My third guy up here is catcher Jonah Heim of the Texas Rangers. And Jonah Heim hasn't been around that long. He's kind of developing into the role as a catcher in Texas, and boy, is he taking off. But what makes him so vastly underrated is durability. Jonah Heim in the last 2 seasons has played 81% of Texas Ranger games. 81% as a catcher is unheard of. Jonah Heim is out there every single day battling, and he's developing as a hitter. And that's tough to do as a switch hitting catcher. We've seen Adley Rutschman soar, but Jonah Heim needs to get as much recognition. And he's just a stud behind the plate. You take a look, yes, 2022, 127 games, only a .227 average, a very league average, 16 home runs, 97 OPS plus. Pretty much league average. But this year, the bat has extended itself as well. 55 games, now a .277 average, 7 home runs, 115 OPS plus. He is really improving his game, and he's so durable. And the fact you have a switch hitting catcher is such an asset for the Rangers. He's also combined to have 12 defensive runs saved. He's improving with his throwing technique. He's improving with his pop time behind the plate to throw out stolen base runners. He is excelling behind for a very good Texas Rangers squad. I absolutely loved what Jonah Heim does, and I think as a catcher, he's vastly underrated compared to some of the top guys who get a lot more recognition. Bring it in here. Bring it here. Come on in here, Internet. Take a look at these numbers. 22 home runs, 71 RBIs, 107 OPS plus. The next year, 16 home runs, 60 RBIs, 104 OPS plus. And in 2023 currently, 7 home runs, 28 RBIs, 130 OPS plus. It's pretty good, huh? Above league average. I bet you don't know who this guy is. 21 defensive runs saved to go along with all that. Contract, first year arbitration at $3.2 million. How about Baltimore Orioles outfielder Austin Hayes? Again, another who. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle in Baltimore with guys like Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Ryan Mountcastle. But Austin Hayes is an all-round type of ball player. Very nice contract as well to go along with it. That's part of the reason why I think he's so underrated. You're going to look at the numbers and say, well, how come his home runs fell off so far? They took the fences back in Baltimore. He's a very, very good player. He plays a lot of left field for the Orioles, which he almost has to play as a center fielder with how big that left field is. Austin Hayes, one of the most underrated outfielders in all of baseball. Defense has become so vastly underrated across baseball. I think it's starting to see some turnover here. We expect better defense. It's not all about crushing the long ball. How about Ha-Sung Kim? Kim with the San Diego Padres has put up a combined 2022-2023 seasons of 28 defensive runs saved at recording. He leads all of baseball this year with 16 defensive runs saved, and it's not even close. The next guy's at 10. Ha-Sung Kim saved the Padres with Tatis suspended last year. Just above league average hitter, but that doesn't matter because he takes away runs, which makes him so much more valuable. He thrived last year as a shortstop, now moving over to second base with the arrival of Xander Bogaerts. He's taken it to a whole nother level. With no shift this year, Ha-Sung Kim becomes that much more important for the Padres. His defensive ability and range to get the balls takes away hits, takes away runs, and helps the Padres win games. Ha-Sung Kim, one of the most underrated middle infielders in all of Major League Baseball. I think one of the things that makes a player so vastly underrated is when a player does it over and over and over that you kind of forget about him as a player, and that's what I think happens with Boston Red Sox outfielder Alex Verdugo. When you take a look at Verdugo's last 5 seasons, he's putting up a 280 average or higher in the batting average, 10 or more home runs, a 730 or higher OPS, a 102 or higher OPS plus. In that time frame, he has 22 career defensive runs saved. His $6.3 million he's making on his arbitration 2 contract. The second year, he's got another year to come with that. When you have that type of player, Verdugo is just so consistent. He has the ability to spray the ball around the diamond, which sounds good, but it's actually kind of tough to do in Boston. He doesn't have a lot of left field to make use of as a left-handed hitter. I think a better ballpark could actually make Verdugo an even more dangerous hitter and spreading the ball around. He drives and runs. He's got some speed. He's got solid defense. He does every little thing right. He's got a pretty good arm as well. He has the 5 tools. He's got a little bit of everything. But because there's no outstanding feature, I think he also gets underrated. So he's kind of the opposite of players like Connor Joe who do one thing extremely well. Verdugo does everything good. And when you do everything good and nothing great, you kind of get underrated. So that's why I've got Alex Verdugo on my list. It's trivia time. Who has led Major League Baseball in hits each of the last 2 seasons and is doing it again this year? That's right, it's shortstop Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays. And Bo is so vastly underrated now. Anybody who leads the league in hits that many times and doing it consistently gets undervalued because there's one thing people think he does very poorly. When in fact, he's only done it very poorly for 1 season. Now, this is going to go against my girlfriend's wishes because she is not a Bo Bichette fan. But when you take a look at Bo, he's led MLB, as said, in hits each of the last 3 seasons. He currently leads MLB in at-bats, hits, batting average, and total bases. So you know he's doing damage at the plate. The big issue with Bo has been his defense. But when you look at it, in terms of defensive runs saved his last 3 full seasons, 2021, 2 on the defensive run save scale. 2022, -16, and that's where everything kind of gets bashed on Bo. He's actually a better defender than you think. 2023, again, back to 2 on the defensive run save scale already this season. I think people need to stop worrying as much about Bo's defense because it's actually pretty decent at times. The unfortunate part is he seems to make some errors in key situations. If he can clean that up, definitely one of the best all-around players in all of Major League Baseball, and maybe he can stick as a shortstop. Bo Bichette, underrated. Okay, so those first 7 guys, you can put them in any order, but the last 3 are my most underrated players in baseball without question. And first up, we have first baseman Christian Walker of the Arizona Diamondbacks. You take a look at Christian Walker. 2019, he put up 29 home runs with a 111 OPS plus. 2020, very good shortened season, 7 home runs, 112 OPS plus. 1 down year in 2021 with 10 home runs, 88 in the OPS plus. But the last 2 years, 36 home runs, 126 OPS plus, and currently 12 home runs, 115 OPS plus. Oh, by the way, he also has 31 defensive runs saved. Oh, by the way, he's also a very good base runner as a first baseman. His extra base percentage is 46%. The Major League average is 40%. So what does that mean? That means 46% of the time, Christian Walker goes first to third on a single. 46% of the time, he scores from first on a double. These are very important factors, and when you think of first baseman, you don't often think of any speed. And even when you think of Christian Walker, you tend not to think of some speed, but he's got a good ability to run the bases, tremendous defender, power hitter, maybe not the highest batting average, but a very, very solid player who produces in the middle of a lineup. You see those RBIs, he drives in runs, he scores runs, he plays the game hard, he's consistent out there day after day, locked in at first base for the Diamondbacks. I absolutely love Christian Walker as a ball player. He's one of my favorite players in baseball, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. He gets overlooked by guys like Pete Alonso, Freddie Freeman, Vlad Jr. Christian Walker is in the conversation for best first baseman in baseball. Take a look at the numbers. He absolutely deserves to be there. The next guy on the list is probably one of the most controversial pitchers in baseball, but because of it, he's vastly underrated, and that is Marcus Stroman. Stroman is fantastic. You look at his numbers year in and year out. Look at the ERA plus, 137, 133, 118. Currently this year, 182. Leads the National League in earned run average and ERA plus on a very bad Chicago Cubs team. Marcus Stroman is a tremendous pitcher. He has versatility. He has durability. He throws you inning after inning, gets outs after outs. He's not a big strikeout guy. He never has been. He gets outs through the ground ball. That sinker-slider combination is one of the best in baseball, and his changeup has really improved over the years. I watched him early on with the Toronto Blue Jays. He struggled at times with that changeup. The sinker and slider were always there, but adding that third weapon just made Stroman that much better. He's already come out and said he would like to sign a long-term deal with the Cubs. The Cubs have already come out and said they're not really interested in doing that. So Stroman is going to be a major piece on the trade market if all this information is true. I think he needs to find a place long-term. He is a tremendous pitcher, but he may end up being a arm for hire kind of guy for year to year because he has a tendency to rub people the wrong way because he likes to say things on Twitter. He likes to say things in the public that not everybody agrees with. Well, guess what? The guy wins games and he's a tremendous pitcher, and when he says things, he's often not wrong. He's just brash about it, and that's okay. That's who he is. But because that, he rubs people the wrong way, and people don't appreciate Marcus Stroman. I certainly appreciate him. I think he's the most underrated pitcher in baseball. He's one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball in my eyes, especially the last couple seasons. Marcus Stroman, Tremendous baseball player. This is going to surprise people. My most underrated player in all of baseball is Marcus Semien. Yes, I know Semien got a massive contract, and because of that, he shouldn't be considered underrated. He could be looked at more as overrated. However, consistency wins baseball games, and look at what Marcus Semien has done on a 162 game average in his career. 162 hits, 96 runs, 25 home runs, 80 RBIs, 15 stolen bases. That accounts to a 257 average, 768 OPS, a 110 OPS plus. Marcus Semien on a 162 game average is one of the best players in baseball year in and year out. Now, why do I think he's underrated? Well, there's two reasons. One, he plays every day. That 162 game average is brought out to 162, but he plays 162 games a lot of seasons, if not 150 to 158 to 155, all those types of games he's played over the years. Semien is a tremendous talent that way. What he struggles with at times, he starts every season poorly. His March-April numbers in his career are absolutely the worst of any month in his career. And you take a look at every month, he gets better month after month after month. And come the All-Star break at the end of the season, you take a look at his numbers and you look at it and go, that's one of the best players in baseball. In fact, my eyes, Marcus Semien, superstar. Take a look at the numbers in March-April though. 244 average, 715 OPS, 88 OPS plus. He struggles in March and April. He struggles to start the season. Lots of players do. If Semien did this consistently in July, I don't think you'd notice it because the numbers would not change a lot. But in April, when we're starting the season out, it really shows up and people kind of overlook him at the start of every season. At the end of the year, Marcus Semien is one of, if not the top middle infielders in all of baseball. And look at it, 26 defensive runs saved over 3 seasons at second base. That is very, very good. One of the top second basemen in terms of defense. He's one of the best second basemen in terms of offense. He steals bases. He hits for power. He hits for average. He's got speed, defense. He does it all. Marcus Semien, for me, is the most underrated player in all of baseball, despite what the contract may say. Marcus Semien, tremendous talent. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of another video. I appreciate all the growing support here on 3 Up, 3 Down. We have cracked 250 subscribers. We have cracked 2,000 total watch hours in the last year. It has been tremendous. I appreciate the support. Make sure you are commenting down below who you think is the most underrated player in all of baseball. I've heard names like Luis Arias, Sean Murphy. Comment who you think. And remember, I always comment back to everybody on this channel. So make sure you comment down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe to the channel. The last month, 90+% of you have watched but not subscribed. You need to subscribe. You like it here on 3 Up, 3 Down. And if you already subscribed, share this out with your friends who enjoy baseball as much as you do. So make sure you go check out some of my older videos. We have a video on expansion thoughts. We're going to grow a part 2 of that video, so make sure you're subscribed so you know when that gets uploaded as well. Until next time, take care, everyone.